All right, guys. So today I wanted to start diving into some mindset kind of trainings because right now is in case people listen to this later, right now we're going through the quarantine. So we have a lot of sort of really more so like mindset issues when it comes to choosing the right foods and getting ourselves up and motivated to work out and just things are a little bit seem to be a little bit more challenging, a little bit more intense. And so I really think that, taking a deeper dive into your mindset and learning how to train your mindset is really going to be the key to who comes out of this thing strong and not only strong, but fitter, leaner, happier, and really makes the most of the situation. So tonight or today, we're going to be talking about really like how do we create these results, these outcomes and what really influences the creation of these outcomes, these, just things that we're trying to achieve. Okay. And a lot of times we look at the effect of something, uh, the thing that occurs as a result of what's happening. So uh, we try to change the effect rather than the actual cause. We look at creating new results, or we look to change, or we'll call it the effect of something, where what we really want to do is work inside. Okay, the work is done inside. We're going to speak about how that plays out a little bit and how we can start to really influence the things that are causing the results that we're getting, the situations that we're finding ourselves in, and these outcomes that we often create in our life. And so and really how to go about that. Okay. So, and from there, we're going to wrap it up with like influencing our lives through intention, like, having a specific intention in our day, influencing life through outcome and how those two things really go together. Okay. And so, what do I mean by this idea of cause and effect, right? So earlier this day, I was speaking to somebody and they said, you know what, I'm just like really frustrated with myself because I've gotten myself to do X, Y, Z, and I haven't gotten myself to, uh, I've gotten myself like so far, and because of the quarantine, I haven't been able to get myself to work out, and I'm frustrated that I didn't. Like I'm letting myself go. I'm frustrated that I didn't work out. I didn't work out for a week or something like that, and maybe it's something else for us that we're attempting to motivate ourselves to. Maybe it's something with food, but this particular person that I was talking to was talking about working out. And but for other people it could be like, just choosing the right foods, or waking up on time, or meditating every day. Perhaps it's getting up an hour earlier each day. Perhaps it's like starting or finishing a project that we know we should be working on. And if we fulfill those things, it'll progress our body, our mindset, our career, our life forward in some way, whether it's whatever it may be. Okay. And a lot of times when we fail in the execution of something that we maybe know it would be good for us, and something that we want to do, something that we see would potentially be good for us, a lot of times people react to that space in a particular way. And it's interesting because the most common way that people respond to not fulfilling something that they want to do, or not fulfilling on something they intend to do, such as eating the right foods or going to work out, or when they end up taking action that they'd like to stop doing, right? So they'd like to stop doing, but they end up doing it anyway. Sometimes it occurs as something we'd like to really like discontinue. And maybe we would like to like stop eating a particular food, or stop drinking, or stop being so hard on ourselves, or stop being overly critical of the people in our life, or something like that. And then we find ourselves taking the action, doing the very thing that we are attempting to not do, which can be really frustrating. Or we notice that we fall short in getting ourselves to take the action on, or fulfilling that, which we're intending for ourselves. So a common way that we respond to this is typically people go one of two places. Okay. They either do nothing, which sounds kind of funny, but that's actually very common when I'm, attempting to execute on something. And, let's say tomorrow I'm going to wake up early and go work out. So tomorrow comes and it goes, and I don't get up to go work out when I wanted to. And so commonly the way that people tend to that space is they just do nothing, right? They just go, oh, well, it didn't happen today. So no big deal, and then they'll just give themselves a reason why it didn't happen to them and move on with their day. And then it doesn't happen the next day, and it doesn't happen the day after, and it doesn't happen the day after that, and so on. So, and then another thing is, maybe it's around like, I don't know, like saving money, and you're just like, hey, I'm gonna save this much money and this month, and let's say it doesn't happen. Very normal is our response to that, or maybe people's response to that is typically to do nothing. It's like, oh well, I didn't get around to it this month because of blah blah blah, and we have some reason, and then we go on. Or maybe it's making time to do that special thing for someone that we care about, whether it's like let them know that they're appreciated, or just spending time with them, taking a friend to dinner or something like that. And we kind of have the intention to do it where we mean well, and then it just doesn't happen. Okay, it doesn't get fulfilled. And the way we typically respond is, again, we kind of do nothing. We just kind of let that thing kind of come and go, and we don't really execute on it. And so we maybe give ourselves a reason why it didn't happen, and then we just go on with our day, and we show up tomorrow and live that day, um, you know on the other side, basically. And the other common way people tend to sort of relate to these spaces is to be really self-critical. And I think that's kind of what a lot of, like, most of the clients that I usually work with, because we are just so driven and go go go, um, is they're just a lot more critical. And so if you didn't execute on something that you intended to do that day, we tend to really bash ourselves. I do this a lot. And yeah, so maybe we don't do it just a little bit, maybe we do it a lot of it. Okay, and where we get self-critical and we start to kind of go into self-talk about why we're not good enough and how we never get it right. And like, we just beat ourselves up, we get angry at ourselves. And then at some level, for people to it's common for people to criticize themselves, to get about like self-critical. And fundamentally, those two things are just never going to translate into taking the action that you actually want to take, right? And fulfilling the thing that you really want to do, by reacting that way. Whether it's, who we choose to become, or, what we choose to create. And so when we take action in this way, in response to like these situations, we fall short. And the things that we want to do that we don't do, or engaging in the things that we don't want to do, and we ended up like, but then we ended up doing them. That place of self-criticism actually does not get us to the place of action in the future, and it's not going to get us to stop doing um, stop doing those things. Okay, so what it does do fundamentally is it really just has us feeling really bad. Is really what it comes down to, about what we just did or didn't do. And it actually reinforces it. And it will probably, either not occur again, the thing that we want to do, or if it's something we're trying to stop doing, it's going to reinforce and ensure that it does occur again. And it's just really interesting how this happens. And then we just get caught up in this cycle. If we're trying to stop something, we'll end up just keep doing it because we keep beating ourselves up, because we keep finding ourselves like in this just negative state. And things that when anytime we're in a negative state, nothing really comes good out of it. And if it's something we want to start doing, we probably won't get ourselves to do it. And so that place of self-criticism in response to a way of being, that we're trying to get ourselves into what we're trying to or get ourselves to stop, it's just going to reinforce whatever we're currently doing. Because when we feel bad about things, about ourselves, about failure, typically that just, it doesn't inspire us to make any change at all, to take any sort of positive action that is in line with the direction that we want to go. Okay, to become a better person, to treat people better, to treat ourselves better. It tends to do the opposite when we're really hard on ourselves, which it anchors us inside of our current state that we are already not happy with. And so as we look at the things that we choose to step into, whether it be a little bit kinder to the people we care about, or get ourselves to work out, or get ourselves to eat the right foods, whatever it is for you, the key is actually in, it's positive reinforcement. And so the effective way we want to say it is the thing that we recognize that we did or didn't do. That's what's on the surface, right? It didn't go to, like, if we didn't go to the gym this morning, that's the effect. The effect is I didn't go to the gym. Maybe it's, hey, I didn't make that time to spend with people I care about. because connection's important to me. Or so maybe the effect is I didn't spend that time. So whatever the effect is, if we attempt to change just that surface level, just the effect, ultimately we're going to fail, if that makes sense. So because that's not what has, has this, because that's not that that we haven't taken that particular action in the first place, there's a conversation that's happening within ourselves before we take any action that we take, whether it's an action towards something that we want to be taking, or something that we don't want to, getting ourselves to do the things that we know serve us and would create the life that we choose, or it's stopping the things, right? It's putting a stop to getting ourselves to disengage the things that we know aren't serving us. And so what's key is to start to pay attention to the conversation that's actually taking place within us, okay? Motivating the outcome, or we'll call it like the effect, right, of the sort of conversation that's going on within us. And so if you pay attention, if you name something as an example, right now that you'd like to begin doing, such as, hey, I want to make sure I get up every day, or I want to eat better, something that would be good for you. Maybe you're even a little, like, you get a little excited about it. Something would make you a better person, something would serve and help you get you to the person that you want to be, achieve your goals. um, or maybe it's like meditating every day, getting yourself to do that. Maybe it's doing your check-ins on a regular basis, or perhaps it's just doing like a compassion exercise each day, or a gratitude statement, any whatever it is for you. But ask yourself that question and get inside of that for yourself, which is like, what is the thing that I would like to get myself to start doing? And just kind of think about that right now. So whatever it is that you would like to start doing, just be aware of it right now. And when it comes time to execute on it, what's the conversation that you're having within yourself? Okay? Because the person that wakes up, as an example, every morning and goes to the gym, they do that every day because of the conversation they have with themselves about working out and what that means for them. The person that's compassionate, with the people in their life and caring and sensitive to what's unfolding for those around them, that person shows up that way, not just because that's who they are, but because they chose to take compassionate actions. They're sensitive to those who are around them, and one reason really, and that is in essence, because the conversation they're having with themselves, about it. They are in a place of self-talk that is motivating the action rather than self-criticizing, meaning we're always in a space of self-talk within our own mind and emotions that show up, etc. Okay. And so what you want to be doing is just start to take sort of note of the self-talk that that you're saying, that you choose to, well, not really choose to, it's more probably conditioned or patterned, that is going on in your head. And so when those moments come and you execute on what you're choosing to do, pay attention to see, hey, what does that self-talk look like and what does it sound like? Because the self-talk is there. It's always there. There's a particular like theme. The person that's going to the gym every morning, as an example, that self-talk is, this is necessary for me to perform. My health is very important to me. This is the way I clear my head. This is going to make me feel better. It's going to make me vibrate on a higher level. It's so important that I do this to stay healthy. And, um, like, just, I'm going to be a better wife, a better, person. I'm going to be a better friend, all these things. Like they do this, I do it. Like, I do this all the time. I do it because I know I have you guys to lead. I've got to be a leader myself, and see like really how we attach these two things. What makes me get up at 3:45 every morning and go work out in a cold ass garage, and it's these things. It's this self-talk that we choose for ourselves. And on the other side of things, the self-talk might be, maybe it's also vanity that drives us, right? Like, which is, if I don't look good, people aren't going to admire me or respect me or whatever it might be. So again, we're not going to identify exactly what is good self-talk or bad self-talk. Just get inside of what is the self-talk that motivates you to take action. Okay. Meaning if there was an intention, something you choose to engage in, and you end up engaging in it, you're doing it, not because it's a good thing to do, but you're doing it because of that self-talk that occurs for you beforehand. what does that look like? Because that is what we want to train. Like this is training, okay? And the way that you're relating to that space is um, either has you taking action or not taking action, depending on what that self-talk looks like. And so pay attention and look at, hey, that's a space where, that's a self-talk that that allows you to engage in the thing that you want. Whether it's eating a little better or doing your meditation or, going to work out or whatever. Okay. So just name it and take a moment to be aware of what comes up for you in your relationship to each one of those spaces. Okay. So, think about maybe something that you've been struggling to do, or maybe things that you are doing really well at, and figure out what is the self talk that is going on right prior to you doing that. Because we basically want to become just more in tune, more aware of those things so we can intentionally put that self talk into action so that we can take the action. And remember that we always the whole everything we always take action out of feeling good. If we're feeling shitty, if we're feeling stressed, depressed, nothing good is going to come out of that. And so that's why it's very important that we learn how to be aware of these emotions when they show up, when they're not serving us, and learn how to redirect them. And that's the tricky part, right? Is learning how to redirect them. And all it comes with training. It doesn't happen overnight. It's just like you're it didn't take it, you weren't like an overnight success in doing a 100-pound squat or something like that. It takes time to build that stuff up. And so you have to put in the work. It's just like going to the gym. You can't let up on it. It has to be a daily training. What the inner training, it's not meditation. Don't think of it as meditation. We are not meditating. We are training. We are literally training the mind for life. We are training the mind to take action. We are training the mind to create the vision that we want. Okay. And everything starts like if our intention is here, if this is what we want, this is the person we want to become. Okay, this is what we want. We're down here. The only way we're getting to the thing that we want is by making choices that align with that, right? And the only way we're going to make good choices is if we feel good. So if we feel good, if we're in a place of peace, love, joy, that is when we're going to be most likely to take the actions, to eat well, to work out. So we have to line up in a state of always feeling good. Feeling good is everything. If we find ourselves stressed, anxious, depressed, we are going to create something completely different. We're going to take a completely different route and we're going to end up way the fuck over here. Yeah. And like, nothing where we want to be. Okay. And these choices over here are come from a place of stress, anxiety, and fear. And so understand the importance that the emotion drives our actions. The emotion drives the choices we make. The emotion drives whether we work out, whether we eat well. So we have to make sure that we are training our mind on a daily basis and we are doing things that feel good. If the workout doesn't, if it seems like a burden, think about, what do you love about it? What do you love about the way you feel when you work out? What do you love about, man, I just love it when don't put any burdens on yourself. Don't think that the workout has to be hard. This morning I did 20 minutes of push-ups and ring dips. Like that's it. Like it doesn't have to be hard. Just get yourself up and take action. And remember how good it feels and why you love choosing protein and veggies. You just feel so much lighter. You move so much freer. You're kinder to yourself. You have a better relationship. Everything relies on it. Remember that and understand and start to train your self-talk into seeing that and remembering that. All right, guys, we're going to cut it there. So that's it for today. And I will see you guys in the next video. Hope you guys enjoyed that.